Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 129 of Two Left Thumbs, a weekly gaming podcast that gets up early to catch the worm. My name is Deft Puppiez. I'm your host, and joining me this week, our guest has been nearly 2 years in the making. This interview has been trying to happen. It's been a while. It's Sydnee Mcleod. How you doing?
Hi, yes, it's me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm waking up. I'm fine. This is it's it's a bit early, but that's okay. So for those who are for listening, who are you and what do you do?
I am Sydney. I am a community manager for a game called Tribes of Midgard. It's a game coming out very, very soon on July 27th on PC, PS5, PS4. And as a community manager, I do quite a lot within the community, as you can expect. I hang out with the community, talk with them, answer a lot of questions. Question answering is one of my favorite things to do. I also create a lot of content for social media and generally just I'm there to answer whatever the community needs and hang out with them and see how they're feeling about the game. Something I really enjoy doing. And yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. It's yeah, like I said, I've been trying to get for a while. I think you were originally when we first started doing guests on the podcast, you were like one of the first people I reached out to, and then we had like 2020 happen, and that was this the whole thing. It was out the window because I think when we spoke last, you guys were fairly close to release with Tribes, right?
Yeah, I think when we spoke last, it must have been, what was it, like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago? And that's when I was first starting. And at that point, it's so crazy to think about how far ago that was, because at that time we were thinking of going to early access, as you were saying. Like at that point, there was no publisher in the picture. There was just a game we were ready to push into early access. And obviously things have changed so much since then. But yeah, it's funny to think about how many like game modes we've had so far. We've had the 3 closed alphas since then. We've had the 3 open betas. And now we are where we are.
You've release date all sorted. That must be super exciting for you guys. So like I said, it's been a while. I think Norsfell was founded 2013 when they started working on the game. So it's been a long time coming, and like watching everything you guys have been working on since I kind of got involved with you guys a little bit earlier on. The game has changed like tremendously. You guys have so much going on there at the moment. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been wild just to be here from the start to see the game evolve, and you've been there too. Seeing the game change over the time that it's been in development, because as I said, at that time we were just planning to go to early access. The game was shaping up pretty well, but then everything kind of did a 180 when things started growing. It kind of kicked off, I would say, when we did our first open beta, and then our second open beta when streamers started to pick up the game and started playing with their community, and thinking like just the positive reception was overwhelming. And at that time, I think more and more people started to get to know Tribes. And we even made it to the front page of Twitch, which was super, super exciting. Like that was a mind-blowing moment in the office. I remember me just checking my phone, eating lunch, and then I think it was other community manager, JP, who was like, come over to the computer, like, come look at this. Like, we're on the front page of Twitch. And that was something crazy for us as an indie at the time. To have that.
That would have been insane, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. And then to see people trying it out is it's the most fun thing, just to see people talking about the game. And at that point, I think it was those betas that really pushed us to people getting to know us better. And eventually we started getting the more traction on social media and our community was growing. And then at the time, obviously, we had a publisher step into the mix, Gearbox, which was awesome. So then at that point, it gave us the chance to really expand the game, to push it to where it is now. Because as you said, it just based on the things we're able to show, it's really, really grown from what it initially was. And it's such like a proud feeling to see it grow like this over the time.
It's like the proud parent moment. I also like the from what we can show there, which leads me to believe there's a hell of a lot more going on that we haven't seen yet, which is
maybe
exciting.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So let's learn a little bit more about you. We'll come back to Tribes shortly, but how did you get started in gaming in general? Like little Sydney, what kind of kicked you off to your love
Yeah,
of gaming?
so yeah, I've kind of been gaming for as long as I can remember. Starting with, I think it was the Super Nintendo, just playing Super Mario with my brothers. I grew up around games and then eventually moved on to PS2. And then the first game I can remember beating, and actually is one of my favorite games, is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. That is, I love. Have you ever played?
Classic, absolute classic. It's been a hot minute since I've played it, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
very long
yeah.
time ago.
Yes, yeah. So that was one of that's a very it was a very good memory to finally beat that game when I was younger. And then I eventually got into Call of Duty. I'm a big fan of first person shooters. So all throughout my kind of younger life, I played Call of Duty with friends, and that's kind of my first experience. I would say with kind of like a gaming community is having that group of friends, and then we would go on every single night and know we were going to be there for each other to be a team. And yeah, that really enjoyable time there. And then yeah, just as I've grown, I've been playing more games. I really enjoy Rainbow Six. I like Elder Scrolls Online just because it's such a beautiful game with beautiful environments, and I feel like it really immerses you in kind of the fantasy experience.
Yeah,
And
I've played it. I've played
yeah.
a little bit of ESO. I haven't
Mhm.
fully got into it. I've been playing it with a friend of mine, but I jumped in like probably like 8 months ago,
Mhm.
and there's like
Yeah.
so much there. Like it's genuinely overwhelming. It's
Yes.
like you've got to do this, and this. I'm like,
Yes.
okay,
Mhm.
sure, let's. I'm lost.
Yeah,
Help.
there's a lot of information to kind of take in, especially if, yeah, you're new to the game. But I didn't go in alone. I also had friends to kind of play with. So that's where also you kind of have that community. It's always been about community playing multiplayer games. That's something that you'll see throughout the games I play is that they're multiplayer. I've always enjoyed that. And yeah, and then as to how I kind of got into games in general, I would say is I always knew I wanted to work in games, but I wasn't exactly sure where I would fit in there. Thought about maybe kind of user experience because I liked seeing how people experience games and getting feedback, which kind of led into community. And it kind of clicked like, hey, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been hanging out with communities, I've been part of discords who play games, and it was just the next step to being community manager. And yeah, I actually saw the Norsfell job posting on Twitter by surprise and decided to apply and got the job. And that was so exciting and amazing when Tribes was just a little baby game. And yeah, to join at that point at the start when the community was just building, I think was an amazing opportunity.
Definitely. I mean, like it's simple as that. Just apply for jobs, right? It's
Yeah, it truly
what I'd
is. And
say.
don't give up. That is my biggest advice. Don't give up. Things happen for a reason, I believe. And, the more you apply, the more you just, take a look at what's out there, even if it might seem like something, that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. Like, go for it anyway. That's just my advice.
You've done a fantastic job, by the way. I want to commend you because the community for Tribes is just they're actually amazing. I know you guys take a lot of feedback as far as game development and what the people would like to see in the game. I've seen a lot of that implemented into the game, which has been really really cool to see. I mean, I'm sure it makes your job a lot easier to kind of have things that people want in the game as well. Have you had any like major challenges with community manager? Because this is your first kind of gig as a community manager, right?
Yeah.
Um, so what were the like kind of the major challenges for you kind of going into it?
I would say one that comes to mind immediately was kind of the challenge that we were presented when me and other community manager JP, my awesome CM in crime, when we first joined. We were kind of presented with the challenge of, okay, we were kind of there for a few months and then realized, okay, it's not going to early access. We're not sure when we're going to launch. How are we going to sustain the community for an undetermined amount of time? Was kind of the big looming question at the time. And I think that was a huge challenge to overcome was, okay, we don't have a release date. We're not really sure where this is going at the time. How can we keep the community hyped? How can we keep them engaged? How can we show things when we can't really show too much? And there was a couple ways we did end up overcoming that. I know you've been here from the start. You've been seeing the content on our social feeds. what we would do was, part of it would be, we would take a feature, okay? We would take one feature, for example, like a little camp or something that was in the works, and we would break it down into as many small pieces as we could to show people the total evolution of how this feature came to be. And the goal was always to be as open as we could with the community. That's something from the very, very start we wanted to kind of push forth, was this openness. We wanted to be talking with the community all the time. We wanted to show them parts of game development as much as we could. And that also allowed us to sustain the community, was being able to break things down into like minute little pieces and being like, hey, here's some concept art. Hey, here's like a little prop we're making. And hey, here's how it turned out in the end. So by being able to kind of come up with strategies for our content that could break things down, that's one of the ways we were able to maintain the community, was just keeping them involved, like letting people know, hey, this is what's up, this is what we're working on, and kind of keep that casual tone the whole time.
Yeah, I think it's a big appeal, especially with your it's kind of there. You guys are fairly straightforward. You have those quiz nights. I haven't been there for one yet.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I've missed them every time because time zones hurt me. Yeah. But they look super fun. It's always good to see someone like really engage with the community, and doing cool stuff like that. Because I mean, like I said, the last couple of years have been pretty crazy for you guys. Not only have you had like the whole COVID crisis to deal with, I'm sure most of you were working from home for a large amount of time during that.
Yeah, I'm still working at home right now.
Still working at home right now, yeah.
Yep.
And then they had Gearbox pick you up. How was that? Because that would have been huge for you guys. That was what early 2020, right?
Yes, I think it was late 2019 or early 2020. Yeah, that was huge. That was just like game changing at that time. I think it was partly in because going back to those open betas, just giving those people the chance to try the game and to get the word out, and people really loving the game was amazing to see. And then it just grew into people saying positive things on our socials, and our community being so great. Like, our community truly is made up of some amazing people. I do think so. It's a pleasure to log on every morning and have some very nice messages to reply to, which is always great. So yeah, then that reflected in what Gearbox was able to see, and they saw that Tribes was a game that people could really enjoy, and they believed in us. So it was amazing that we were able to sign that deal with them and actually have a publisher now, which is awesome.
You guys are on PlayStation PC, right, at the moment? No word on Xbox or Switch yet?
Not quite yet. We eventually, it could be cool to be on all consoles, but we really have no news on the other ones for now.
That's fine. I think I was just from what I've seen and played from your game, I think it would be perfect on the Switch. It'd be amazing on that, because you could just kind of ponder around and carry it with you. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just get working on that now. That'd be thank you.
Sure, I'll write it down. I'll note it.
Yeah, give the guys on it. Thanks. That'd be appreciated. So you guys haven't obviously been out and about with conventions and stuff a lot lately. You got to voice the latest trailer. How was that?
Yes, that was an awesome experience. Honestly, I can't stop smiling when I think of that, because it was just amazing to even be given that opportunity. They wanted somebody from the team to record for it, which made sense. And I stepped up and I was like, sure, like I would be down to do that. And then from then I had to kind of, since we're working from home, I had to make this little self-made studio, this voice recording studio. So of course I had like my little closet. I had this blanket over my head. I had pillows on the walls to muffle the sound. It was quite a funny picture.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been hilarious to watch.
Yes. I do have some pictures.
Oh, excellent. I'll need to see those later, just for the sake of it. I know a couple of people that have like plastic boxes, like just like large plastic boxes, and they literally just stick their head underneath, and it's got like memory foam on the inside. Yeah, and that's it. And just like sit there with this box in your head in front of the microphone. You do the talking.
Yeah, I should remember that for next time.
Don't do it during summer. That's probably a terrible idea. It'd be getting warm for you guys over there now, right?
Yes, it's getting quite warm, and yes, being under that blanket was very warm. But in the end, I think it paid off. It was honestly one of my favorite trailers we've put out. We were able to actually show like a bunch of new things within the game, kind of explain sagas and seasons, and yeah, even show a little peek at some of our pets. So that was fun to do.
The pets are cool. I was not
Mhm.
expecting pets, but now that they're here, it
Yeah.
all makes sense.
Yeah.
You guys got like dungeons and stuff going on too now, which I think
Yes.
is really really cool.
Mhm.
How do they work? Can you talk about them at all?
Yeah, for sure. That was one of kind of like the wow moments I experienced when I was playing the game with the team. When I entered the dungeon for the first time, I was thinking like this is so different from anything we'd ever done before. It's kind of like its own biome. And well, when you enter the dungeons, what we've kind of revealed so far is that it will have different levels. There's going to be alleyways, there's going to be kind of areas you have to find your way through. It's really a cooperative experience in that sense because you kind of have to direct people, oh, go to the left tunnel, the right tunnel. No, go back. I'm behind you. Kind of it really requires that, coordination.
Yeah.
And you can find some very daunting enemies down there. You might see some trolls. I can tell you that. Um, yeah, it's just a very, very cool new element to the game, I think. And it's always fun to go like dungeon plundering to find treasure, but don't roll
Yeah.
off the edge. I will warn you
So
that.
I've rolled off. I've rolled
Mm.
off. Which is it's it's just like, oh, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think exploration that game was a lot of fun. I think that's where I found the most enjoyment. Because I mean, I primarily, for the most part, like, I play a lot of solo stuff, single player things. Occasionally multiplayer, but my hours are weird, so I don't have a lot of time on normally. So those first kind of the beta experiences when the giant just kind of rolls up and you're in a single player world, he's like, okay, this is fine. Help! I have no idea what's going on. But what was really cool is you guys have the like just kind of the joining games as well, which I thought was really nice. You can just get in there and you didn't even have to chat to anybody, and just kind of bust about and explore and get absolutely ruined at those little outposts.
Yeah. Mhm.
So what have you been playing lately? Have you had much time to play anything?
To be honest, I haven't had too much time to play things. It's really gearing up now that it's getting close to release, especially on the community side. But I have been playing Stardew Valley to kind of chill out. It is my favorite relaxation game. I love inventory management, so you get a whole lot of that in Stardew. You also get dungeons. Well, you get the cave that you go down to, and overall, I just think it's a timeless game. It's lovely. I love playing Stardew.
I've never got into Stardew. I know a lot of people play it for the same reasons you do. It's just that kind of that nice vibe game where you can just go and just not think about too much and just kind of organize things and just cruise around and do whatever.
Yeah.
Not I don't know. Maybe I should try it. I've been avoiding it.
Mhm.
As much as I've been avoiding Animal Crossing as well, but I think Animal Crossing is a whole other demon that I
It really
don't
is.
quite want to touch.
Yeah, it really I haven't gotten into it actually because I don't have a Switch. But yeah, I hear, especially in the early days, it was something that was a huge time investment, especially yeah when it was brand new and everybody was playing. But yeah, I've never got the chance to try it. I played the old one on GameCube, but never the Switch one.
GameCube.
I miss the GameCube.
I always wish I had a GameCube.
Mhm.
I never got one. I had a Nintendo 64, and the GameCube is such a, I want to say, interesting device. Um,
Mhm.
what games did you have on there?
That's when I was playing Twilight Princess was actually on the GameCube. And it was the best, like, it was a very good party console. Like, you had Super Smash Bros. And you had Mario Party, just the old classics that you would get together and sit down with everybody and play, like, four-player together, local.
Yep.
It was those types of games.
Did you ever get a Wii?
No, I never got a Wii.
You were missing out. That was sort of
Never
like
did.
party games on that were the best. Wii bowling
Mhm.
after a few drinks is
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did play
so
Wii Bowling. I
good.
have played the Wii. Yes, super good. Wii Bowling, fun. Super fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I used
Mhm.
to. I've nearly lost a few controllers through TVs. Just
Oh, yeah.
like struck you guys. I know. Just put the wristband on. That's fine. Controller goes through a wall. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
I
This is
believe it.
okay. Yep.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, uh, let's talk about what's been going on at Norsfell lately. I mean, I know you guys are ramping up to full release. What does that look like for you guys? What kind of where are you at stage wise? How are the team feeling? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, team's feeling really good about it. There's so much to do every single day. It's really everybody's on full speed ahead. As I mentioned, everybody on the team really is full speed ahead, bug fixing, making sure things work properly. And then on the community side as well, of course, we're super busy. We have that trailer that just came out. We have much more in the works that I can't really dive super into right now, but you can expect to see more on classes very soon, because that was a big thing that we had talked about, was that expansion from 4 classes to 8 classes, which was huge. I'm so excited for everybody to try out the classes because they are super unique in
What
how they
classes
are.
have you got at the moment?
They're all listed on our website right now, just the descriptions and the pictures, but I can go through them if you're wanting to. Sure.
Let's go.
Let me just pull them up really quick. But the first one, actually,
You don't know them
I know that one.
How terrible.
No, I know this one
How
offhand.
dare.
Yes. Yes, there's so many of them now. Here we have, well, the first one is the Ranger. So that's something that I had mentioned in the latest trailer. So that's the cool thing about the classes overall, is that, like, say for example, the Ranger, it does have bow proficiency, but you don't necessarily need to use a bow. You can use any weapon with any of the classes. So you're not exactly like tied to a certain weapon per class. But
Right,
yeah, the Ranger
so
would...
it's like the weapons are slightly better if you're using that specific class for that specific weapon, but you can kind of bounce and change between whatever weapon you like.
Exactly. So yeah, the Ranger is more of that ranged class. You'll get some specific perks that were mentioned in the video, which is like super fast bow, which is the quick shot, and then the slow poke, which is the ability to kind of slow people down when you hit them. And you'll also get some perks like enhanced zoom out. So that's the Ranger. And then we have the Guardian, which are more of like a tanky class, I would say. We haven't revealed too much about them yet.
Yeah.
And then the
I do
Warrior.
love me a good tank. If I can get in there and just like cause trouble, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I would also describe the Warrior, which is the 3rd class, as kind of a tank, but it's more of like a melee-based tank. So you really, like, I think in the description itself, it said continually landing blow after blow. So it's very much like I'm going into battle.
You're speaking my language.
I love
right
the Warrior.
There. Yes.
Yes, that is also one of my favorite classes, is the Warrior, because I like to get into battle and bring my mana and just attack enemies. And then we have the Warden as well. So that one is it's kind of more, I'll hint to say, construction-y type class. So more of a building support type class. Mm-hmm. And the Hunter is, I think we're on our 5th class now. So that one's kind of self-explanatory. It's where you'll be going out more into the world, hunting things, collecting things. You'll get some kind of resource perks for that.
So more of a forager style, kind of go out and explore the world, come back with all the goods.
Yeah, and then also in that description, we kind of teased magical totems. You'll get to see a bit more of that when we'll reveal that very soon. And almost second to last, the Sentinel. So that one's the more shield-based class. So you'll see the shield perks, some of which you might have seen already on our socials, which is kind of like that shield toss, which is really cool. You'll get that with Sentinel. Mm-hmm. And then second last is Berserker. So that one is a little bit more as well, kind of like the Warrior, a bit more get into battle and fight class.
A damage-based kind of thing.
Yeah. And then the one that I saved for last, which is arguably one of the most exciting classes, is the Seer, which is very mysterious right now. I don't want to reveal too much, but I highly recommend you play it because it's a really cool class. That is all I can say for now.
I won't probe you on the Seer, but that sounds, obviously sounds magical. It sounds like a lot of
yeah, and we'll definitely be, as I said, we'll be revealing a little bit more on the classes in the weeks to come, so you'll be able to read up a little bit more on them, and then in less than 2 weeks you'll be able to try them out yourself.
I can't get over it. I'm excited for you guys. I can't imagine how you guys are feeling at the moment. It's such a long time. And you guys have like from like almost going early access to like 2 years later, nearly 2 years since then.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was
Two,
about, I think
yeah.
your original kind of date you were thinking was about the same time of year as it is
Mhm.
now. So yeah, it'd be close to. Um, yeah, exciting stuff. I'm really happy you guys came out of 2020 like pretty decently. Like,
Mhm.
picked up a publisher, added like
Yeah.
tons more stuff to the game too, and I'm really excited to kind of dive in and have a crack. You've added a few new game modes and stuff too, haven't you now?
We definitely have. Because there was in the last public test in the open beta, there was kind of that the one you might be familiar with, which was like survival mode, kind of like that
Yep.
endless survive as long as you can. So that's still a mode in the game, and you'll still be able to play that. But now we've also added what's called Saga Mode. So that's more of like an adventure based, not quite story driven, but more on the adventure side mode, where there is going to be things that are a little bit different from their survival slash endless mode. And with those two modes, it's now, yep, split in two. And then there's also kind of a specially balanced solo mode, which is within that saga as well.
Oh, that's really
So,
cool. That's really cool.
yep,
It's good
yep,
because yeah, I think one of the again, like I was speaking about before, one of the largest struggles, especially as a solo player, was things got a bit hairy when the countdown started happening and the giant was here. He's like, okay, like you get there, you die, you get there, you die, you get there. You do the loop, you get there eventually, but it
yep,
makes sense. Really gives you access to more people playing it instead of being like, well, you need 4 to 5 people at least to kind of get by sufficiently for a few days. Um,
yeah, yeah, exactly. No,
yeah,
it's something we've always wanted, like in the long run, was to be able to play it solo as well with like 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10 players is something we really want to emphasize. That is something it's playable by like any number of players basically, and we also have auto scaling, which is something we kind of have been pushing and revealed. So if people kind of jump in and out of a session, the game will automatically scale to the number of players. So the difficulty is kind of dynamic in that way as
oh,
well.
nice. That's really cool. I've seen that in quite a few games. I've been playing Generation Zero a lot lately.
Mhm.
Same kind of thing. They jump in. It's like, oh yeah, this is all scaling up, so everything's harder now. I'm like, okay, thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't want that, but that's okay. It could have stayed easy. It would have been nice.
Mhm, mhm. Gotta give a little challenge. A little challenge is good.
But it's no challenge. Just let me
Mhm,
explore and shoot dog robots. That's all I want.
mhm,
No,
mhm.
they had to scale it up and make life difficult. But yeah, that's a totally different game. We should probably, I don't know. I feel weird. Is
Mhm.
it weird? I feel weird like with like when I'm talking about other games, especially when we're kind of fairly focused on tribes. Is it? I don't know. It feels kind of weird. I don't know. Is it weird? Am I making this
Oh,
weird?
it's
I
not that
probably
weird.
am.
I think in games, obviously, there's a lot of like references to other games. We do that all the time. I do that all the time. Is like whenever I'm explaining something, I reference another game or reference like a mechanic from something else. So I think it's just natural because games have so much in common to be like, oh, it's kind of like this, or it's kind of like this game. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so where did a lot of the inspiration from tribes come from?
Yeah, sure. That's a question from a long time ago because yeah, development started all the way back in about 2016 was kind of like when the idea for Tribes started surfacing within the community, within sorry, the company. Tired brain. Yeah. So as you know, like the company is called Norsfell. So from the start, there was that bit of interest in Norse and Norse mythology. So it only made sense that eventually a Viking game would surface from that. Our founders have an interest in Norse mythology as well, so that was something that they'd always wanted to do. Um, but yeah, the game looked very, very different back in the day. We wanted to kind of take samples from Norse mythology. We kind of stick close to some of the legends, some of the lore, and the descriptions, but we put our own kind of fantasy spin on it. So not everything is 100% related to the actual Norse myth. Some of it is kind of fantasy myth put in by Norsfell itself at the same time. So the idea was to create this Viking game that was inspired by Norse mythology, but then also would be kind of genre bending, which is something that I don't know if you've seen, but it's something we've been talking about quite a bit lately, especially with the kind of description of the game, which is a co-op survival action RPG, which is a very long title, but kind of borrows pieces and elements from all of those genres. You have the co-op, obviously 10-player, then survival, but more of an accessible survival is what we call it. So there isn't necessarily things like hunger or thirst, as you know, but there is things like temperature. So that would relate to survival, just so that people are able to not be as punished by the survival aspect, but to be able to enjoy it, have a little bit of fun throughout the world. And then we have action. Obviously, it's very action-packed. There's not a lot of downtime to be had. It's always, we must protect the seed of Yggdrasil. We got to go back to the village. We got to go out. Yes.
It's yeah, it can get pretty intense playing it. Yeah, especially when you're like you're out exploring, and he's like, "Is anyone like near the village?" Because it's like just hitting nighttime. He's like, "No," and it's this panic rush to get back.
Yes.
He's like, "No, not the seed."
Yes. That is the panic moment. You should generally make sure somebody is by the village to take care of the seed, protect that seed of Yggdrasil, because if it dies, the game's over. So yes, it's very action-packed, and you want to rally your friends to kind of protect your village. And yeah, and then the RPG was something that kind of emerged as the game evolved. Now that we have sort of objectives to do within Saga Mode is what I'll say for now. It kind of gives you that RPG element, and then also the fact that you're kind of upgrading your character as you go throughout the game, powering yourself up, becoming more powerful as the game goes on. So
I saw you
in a long way.
Skill trees as well, which is really.
Oh yeah, skill tree. Did you say skill trees?
Yeah, skill trees.
Yes, so that's within the classes. We have those skill trees, and we haven't shown any of them yet, but we are definitely planning to reveal a little bit more on those skill trees. So you'll get a practice with those, try out some skills, see what suits you best, and what kind of playstyle you prefer.
Where were you going before I really interrupted? I do apologize.
No, all good. All good. I think I was saying, it was kind of the RPG element of kind of like upgrading your character, getting more powerful, and I think that was pretty much it. But and that was kind of a very long-winded way to say that's kind of how Tribes came to be, was this need to and want to create kind of a Viking experience, but also make it accessible and then blend together different genres to kind of create a super genre or a new genre of game.
I like that. Super genre is fun. I like that. It sounds good. Any game inspirations that you guys are pulling from? I mean, I know there's like I think we spoke about Don't Starve was one bit. Any others that you guys have kind of pulled from as well? I mean, I know Norse mythology is a huge one, as like the mythology itself, but games in general, did it specifically pull from anything else?
Yeah, for sure. So as you mentioned, of course, Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together were two huge inspirations for the game in a lot of different ways. Of course, the resource collection, going out and exploring, collecting things, coming back. So that's definitely one of the biggest inspirations. But another was Diablo, just because of kind of like the viewpoint, the isometric kind of feeling to it. Yep. And then, so those were two very, very big ones. There was a little bit of a sprinkle, I would say, of Breath of the Wild, just in terms of art style, because you kind of get that super vibrant. Yeah, I'm glad you see that. Yeah, cool. It's like that.
I only played Breath of the Wild. And gorgeous game, absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
I got lost quite a bit. I thought it was cool. Kind of came together visually. Very nice, and you can definitely see that kind of. I mean, you guys were kind of developing that before Breath of the Wild came out, so there's obviously they've clearly stolen it off you, which have some stern words with Nintendo and say, hey, look, we want our graphics back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, definitely a big inspiration. I'm glad you can see that, like just the vibrancy, the brightness, and the saturation of the world. And then the game itself was also kind of inspired by comics, because we kind of, as you've seen, we have that like hard outline, the kind of black outlines around everything. It kind of looks, it's not cel shading, but it's kind of this comic-y pop to the game as well. So comics were inspiration.
A bit more poppy and a bit more vibrant. Yeah, I think the contrast between that and the colors work really well. It's very nice. So I mean, you're going through to a release. What's I mean, you've got seasons coming out. What's the future looking like for Norsfell and Tribes of Midgard and yourself, of course, as well.
Yeah, I hope it's only up from here. That's the plan, is to pack this these seasons to come with content. Of course, we have it's going to be launching with season 1, the Wolf Saga. So there's going to be a lot to discover within that. And then every 2 months, we're going to have that mid-season update. And then every 4 months, it's going to be a new season. So as you can see, we also released a roadmap. So you can see we're going to be going all the way into 2022, but it doesn't stop there. We'll just keep going beyond for as long as we possibly can. And I think one of the things I'm really, really looking forward to is going to be obviously on release. It's going to be like the open beta times a million to see everybody playing the game again, which is obviously what I looked forward to all the time, is just to see people hands-on, see streamers playing the game, see people playing together. I'm excited to see exactly how long people can survive in that survival mode. I am very excited to see that.
What's the record on that? Because I know you guys were running competitions through the beta. What's the longest someone survived so far?
Yes, that was 147 days, which is about, I believe, 20 to 22 hours of gameplay straight, which is pretty wild.
That's insane.
Yes, like, so I'm excited to see.
I don't know how they lived. Did they? I mean, that was with a group of 10, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was a bigger group, yeah, and I believe they only stopped because the beta was ending. I think that was the reason. So they could have kept going theoretically. But
some say they're still going to this day.
Yes, in their hearts, I think they are still going. But yeah, so I'm super excited to see if people make it to like the day 200 or day 300. We'll certainly keep an eye out for if people are posting about this to see how long they survive. That would be great. But yeah, our goal is just to support the game for as long as possible. Obviously, to ramp up our socials and our community, because that's something I have always loved to do, is just be boots on the ground, be hanging out with the community, talking to people wherever I can, and pushing forth whatever we can that the community shares or posts, and to continue to kind of show exciting highlights of what's going on in the game. That's something I love as well, is to create content for our socials, things that players might like to see and have fun with it. So yeah, that's the goal, is to just keep going up and up, and would love to see streamers playing the game. And yeah, to continue to support the game.
Awesome, excellent. And what about you as community manager? I mean, I know you're obviously happy where you are now, but do you have any like lofty goals? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the horizon in community management is, you never really know what's going to be thrown at you next. You get opportunities, like for example, the State of Play trailer was really, really cool to voice. I'd love to do more of that stuff. But in general, I would love to possibly, I'm going to say possibly here, no commitments, but it's to maybe do some developer streams. I would love to make our Twitch more active, because that isn't something we've been utilizing so far. But it's something we've been looking at doing. I would love to do sit downs, kind of play the game with the community and talk a little bit more about it. I think that could be really, really fun. But no promises. It's just something that could possibly emerge in the future in terms of community.
That would be cool. I think given the vibe that you guys have, I think that would be absolutely perfect for what you guys do, especially since, I mean, it's not a very chill game. Like, there's a lot of things going on, but I mean, you've been obviously playing a lot. You're an old hand at it by now, but I think that and just hanging out with me, I think that would be brilliant.
Yeah, it's just the goal is just to be involved as we can with the community, and I would love to just keep that up as best we can. Just really, I think we're really going to see when the game releases how the community changes, and once we get all these newcomers, we're going to have to adapt how we're talking to the community, make sure we get the biggest questions the community is answering up there, up front, to make sure we're very responsive on that front. And that's something that, I hope to continue to do.
Well, we might run it there. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting about you and Tribes. I mean, I know you're very busy at the moment, especially with you kind of ramping up to finishing off. But for those who are keen to play the game and all want to follow you and find out more about Tribes or yourself, where can we find all the things? Give us the social plug.
For sure. Yeah. So one of the best places to join us is on Discord. You can just find us discord.gg/Tribes of Midgard. And then on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just at Tribes of Midgard. We're very active on those socials. We also have a subreddit, Tribes of Midgard. And I believe those are the main ones you should definitely check out. We also have the website, which has lots more information on the game. There's a news section there where we're going to post more blog posts. And yep, we're on Steam, PS4, PS5 on July 27th. I'm super excited. And the only social media I really use right now is my Twitter. You can find me at Sydnee XYZ. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, I tried doing some like informational stalking. I'm like, oh, there's Twitter. I was like,
Yep.
Where did she exist before this?
I had an Instagram for a long time. I still do, but I mainly post on Twitter nowadays. So
fair
yeah,
enough.
you can find me there. Yep.
To find the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you're listening, you've already been listening for a hot minute, so you know. But if there's anyone new out there, you can find us on Twitter at left_pod. You can also find us on Instagram at 2leftthumbspodcast. The video version of this will be up on YouTube at the same time. You can find us there at 2leftthumbs.online. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Sydnee, thank you for joining me. Been great. I look forward to playing the game and chatting with you more eventually. Once the game's out, hopefully we can hang out. We'll have to hang out and play some games at some point. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Fantastic week. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.